Question, you obviously work on profit by volume. Would you ever consider selling 10 to 20K cars and maybe getting into financing vehicles? Please explain.
All right, so I've been asked a lot if we would ever increase the prices that we actually sell our cars for. We sell cars right now for $5,000 and under, but the availability of those kind of cars is getting less and less and less and less. So why not jump up to that $10,000 and $20,000 range, start financing the vehicles? Problem is, I do not want to finance cars. I don't like car debt. I don't think you should have car debt. I think you should actually buy things that you can afford. But I know that limits what I can actually sell. And I know there's going to be a day that we're no longer going to be a $5,000 and under car dealer. We're already feeling a pinch right now where we're skewing to the higher end of our range. It used to be that we could sell $1,500, $2,500 cars, and that's just about all we had on our lot. But over the last few years, lots of craziness happened. Prices have gone way up. Trade-ins have gone way down. The availability of cars in our range has gone way down. Quality has gone way down. And that has forced us into this corner where we have to sell cars that are more expensive than I used to be the car dealer that sold $2,500 and under cars. And then I used to be the car dealer that sold cars that were $3,500 and under. We had websites designed. We had domains that were purchased that fit this kind of mold. And we basically had to throw them away because now it no longer exists anymore. We had to have business cards that were changed multiple times in the course of a couple of years because our prices just kept going up and up and up and up. And I feel like in the coming years, we're probably going to be the car dealer that sells cars under $7,000. And I hate it. I hate it so much. I hate it. But then with the problem that arises with me is I'm a cash only dealer. Now, when I talk about cash, I'm not talking about hard cash. People can't only just pay me cash for cars. Some of them do, but it's usually debit card. Some use credit cards. I don't think you should put a car purchase on a credit card. That's a lot of interest to pay for a $3,500 purchase. But you'll have cashier's checks, things like that. When you go into the situation where I'm going to have to sell $6,000 and $7,000 cars, most people don't have that kind of cash just lying around or in their savings account. So they're going to have to actually get finance on that car. And that's one thing that I think is going to really hurt my business because I'm not going to be willing to do that. Not only do I not want people to go into debt and I don't want to give them an easy avenue to do that, but when you get into the actual financing market of cars, you also have to be in the business of taking cars away from people that can't make their payments. And I can tell you that there is no situation that I ever want to be in where I am going to repo someone's car. I'm already a pushover as it is right now. So if I have somebody call me, say, look, my kid's sick, I lost my job, I can't make my payment, I'm just going to give them the car. And it just becomes a horrible nonprofit organization. And I'm already running one of those right now with my family. So I don't want to enter into another one. And so I guess we won't exist at that point. But the problem is that prices over the course of my life, of everyone's life, over the course of the existence of America, prices go up. That's what happens. That's what inflation. Now we get into the argument of, okay, well, that's not necessarily what happened. We just have more money coming into the system, and that creates this inflation. And if we're back on the gold standard, that's not what we're talking about here. What we're talking about here is what actually exists, and what's existing right now in our reality is that things are going up in price, and they're going to continue to go up in price, and that's going to negatively affect my dealership and my dealership model. And there's probably going to be a day, maybe not in the distant future, where we're like, okay, well, we either don't have a dealership anymore, or we start selling cars that are $7,000 and just hope people can come up with the cash and be able to buy them from us. And that's something that we're going to have to try at some point. And I can tell you that I went from being a car dealer that sold cars that are $3,500 and under to a car dealer that sold cars that are $5,000 and under in just a 5-year span. And over the course of a business, that's not a very long time. So I can anticipate 5 years from now, we're going to be probably that car dealer that sells cars that are $7,000 and under. That's not a business that I'm excited about, but it might be a business that I have to take on just because that's the way the market moves. And I have to adapt with the market, or you go under. And I'm not interested in doing that. Insurance fraud costs drivers over $300 billion a year. And half the time it comes down to one thing: no proof. At the dealership, I've seen everything from fender benders to people blaming each other for damage that was already there. Since I've started testing dash cams, the Redtiger F17 Plus has stood out. It's a 4-channel system that records the front, rear, and both cabin views at once. The front camera shoots in 2.7K with a Sony Status 2 sensor, so you can read license plates even in low light. Both interior cameras use infrared night vision, so you'll see what's happening inside the car even in total darkness. There's a touchscreen for switching views and 5.8 gig Wi-Fi. So the Redtiger app pulls clips about 4 times faster than the older 2.4 gigahertz models. And even when the car's off, it keeps watch with time-lapse recording, collision detection, and low voltage protection, keeping your battery safe while it monitors everything around the car. If you drive a lot or just want proof when something happens, the Redtiger F17 Plus is worth it. These days, you really shouldn't drive without a dash cam to back you up. So check the link in the description below. Thanks to Redtiger for sponsoring today's video and making a dash cam that actually does the job right.
Dealing with all those used vehicles, how often do you get a vehicle with parasitic drains?
I know what parasitic means. What does this mean?
Okay, so behind the scenes, the producer and I were talking about this, and because I had no recognition of that. Here's the Google response from our producer, already ready to go. A car with a parasitic drain is a vehicle where a component is using battery power when the engine is off, which can lead to a dead battery. Yeah, I've heard of that.
I know. Okay, got it. Yeah, we deal with this all the time.
Yeah.
So,
yep.
So what can happen is, I think what normally happens with ours. So we have older cars, and we can have wire harnesses and any kind of electrical wires are moving through the system that have the outer coverings of the wires that get exposed. And what happens is, if you have that in a damp place, you can actually have water that can conduct some electricity and can actually ground out things that don't need to be ground out, because when you ground them out, you actually turn the system on, and you can have these things that are shorting themselves out and actually draining power. This happens in a lot of older vehicles, and it's so hard to trace down some of these electrical issues, especially when I'm talking about something as small as a frayed wire somewhere in a damp location, and you'll only get power drain right after it rains. So that lets us know exactly what's going on. But think about how many wires are in this car. I mean, there are thousands and thousands and thousands of wires that are going through this car, and you have to find that one. Now, you can go through and test systems, and we have scanners that will let us know what systems are open or closed, depending on what function we're sending to the actual car. The computer will spit back, okay, this is open at all times, meaning that wire or whatever is firing, for a lack of a better word. And if it's firing then when it's not supposed to be, well, it's also going to be firing when the car's off. So we get this quite often. It seems like with smaller 4-door sedans, it's more I don't know why. Maybe it's just because we buy more of these smaller Asian 4-door sedans, but that's the ones I see that happen to more often than other vehicles. But yeah, this is a common thing, and it's very frustrating, because what we'll do is we'll replace the battery in it, because we don't know that that's what's actually happening. Replace the battery, and then if we don't sell the car within a week, then the battery will die and the car won't crank. And we're like, well, we just replaced this battery, so what's going on? So we'll check the battery. The battery's good. It's holding the charge, but it's dying while it's in the car. So then we'll figure out, okay, well, that's the issue. Now, you know what? We don't have the time or energy to track this down, so we'll send it to one of our outside shops that we use and let them deal with it. And it's a massive frustration, and I hate it. But yes, we do deal with that. Absolutely.
Whatever happened to that Canadian F-150 you had?
All right. So for those of you that don't know, I bought this F-150. Oh man, it had to be 2 years ago.
I don't know.
It seems like forever ago. I bought this F-150 cheap from a car auction. It was marked as Canadian, and turned out it wasn't Canadian. It was from California. So I don't know how that even happened. But there was this rumor going around at this dealer auction. All these dealers were saying that this car was a previous Canadian vehicle. And nobody wants to buy a previous Canadian vehicle here in the US because there's extra paperwork to do. There might be a title issue from the transfer. And two, we got the rust that's going to be an issue. So that is a big no-no for a lot of dealers. It's like, I'm out of it. So I didn't even pay attention to this F-150, and it went for really cheap, and they no sold it because it went for so cheap. I was like, oh, that seems ridiculous. Let me look into this. So the next week I looked into it, and it wasn't Canadian vehicle at all. And so that means that another dealer was spreading rumors across the whole auction, so they could potentially get this thing for a lot cheaper than what it was going to go for. So whenever I looked into it, I was like, okay, well, let me just buy this thing. So I bought it, and drove it for a while, and I can't even remember, the timing started going bad on it. We had piston issues. We had to do the rings on it. We basically rebuilt this whole motor. And to do this on this F-150, you got to take the whole cab off to actually get to it. Not that you have to, but it makes it easier. So I posted some pictures of us actually lifting this whole cab off of this F-150 so we could easily get into the motor to actually work on it. But I was going to say long story short, but I've already made this a long story. It was what, $4,000 later, something like that. I ended up selling it and losing like $5,000. So, yeah, after doing all that, like, I didn't even want to drive the truck. I was just like, I'm just done with this. I didn't like the truck all that much, and then now that I put this work into it, like, I don't even feel good about sitting in it. Like, I'm mad at this truck. And so I'm still mad at the truck. I haven't bought a Ford for me to drive since then. And I won't. If I buy a truck again, I'll buy a truck again at some point. But my next truck will be a GMC or a Toyota. It's not going to be a Ford. I'm not going to be a Ford buyer, maybe ever in my life. F-150s are garbage, and I hate them now.
And now he's in a Tesla.
And now I'm driving a Tesla. But I do want to buy an SUV or a truck in the near future, and it will not be a Ford.
Melvin said, "Hey, I bought an F-150 from you guys over a year and a half ago. It's still going."
I hope you might have bought that. You might have bought that F-150 I was just talking about.
I was wondering. It is not. I asked.
Okay.
It's a 99. So you
good.
Bought a 99.
Well, that's one of the two F-150s that we've had in over a year and a half. You know what? I vaguely remember that truck. I think did it have chrome rims on it? I can't remember, but it's very rare for us to have trucks anymore. So you got one of the very few that we're able to buy cheap enough to be able to sell to you for under $5,000. I'm glad it's going great. I hope you left us a Google review. If not, go leave us one.